You might be wondering exactly what is this. So this here is an engine out of a Vauxhall Corsa. Now, to me, this is a Peugeot engine. It's not really a Vauxhall engine because Stellantis, the group that got all the brands together, they got Vauxhall as well. So now they are selling this with this Peugeot engine, but this continues to be just a Peugeot engine to us. It's a 3-cylinder, 1.2, and these cars came into us for piston wash. So they have cars coming to us because of piston rings, so they are letting a lot of oil go through. It's one of the very common issues with these engines. So they do get the pistons full of carbon, the rings, and then just the whole thing just goes from there, and you start to have this white smoke at the back. And also the oil consumption, you start to have to put oil every single time, probably like once a month, to top it up as you get the message that the oil is low. So that's what we're doing on this car. At the same time, we'll be also changing a clutch kit on this because the clutch was gone. And I believe that's about it. So now let's take a closer look at this engine. So here you go. You can see you have 1, 2, 3 cylinder, and this is the gallery where the wet belt goes. In terms of this engine, there's not much going on with it. You have a water pipe going at the back, and this engine is already disassembled. We have all the parts on the bench, ready to put everything back together. We didn't record getting to this point. To remove things out of this is quite easy. It's just more complex to put everything back, as you will have to measure gaps on the rings. You're going to have to torque everything, new head gasket, torque the whole thing. The same goes for the bottom. As I can just show you, we have here all the crankshaft. So we have the crankshaft and the crankshaft bearings. So we'll have to get all those clean, torqued up, and everything set so that this engine can go back to the car and last for probably around another 70,000-80,000 miles without starting to have issues again. Hopefully, we do get the uprated rings, so hopefully it does last longer, but it is a design flaw, so eventually you will need to get them done again. So these are the new piston rings. You have the top ring, middle ring, and then you have the oil scrape ring. So we'll be changing all 3 of these. Now, with the piston rings, you do need to measure them. Some of them will be already coming pre-gapped. So what you'll be doing to get your measurements is you push this in to the cylinder, and then you're not completely straight. So what you can do, you just be getting your piston and then push the piston in the other way around. And that way you have your ring completely flat inside of the cylinder. And then you'll throw, I don't know if you can actually see that, but you can throw a filler gauge in between the gap and measure your gap. On this vehicle, it should be somewhere between 0.2 and 0.4. There is differences between the turbocharged engine and non-turbo. As far as I'm aware, I didn't check the specifications yet, but as a rule of thumb, normally you tend to see a bigger gap on that ring there whenever the car is turboed, just because combustion chamber temperatures will be slightly higher, making this piston extend. Now you'd be asking, why do I need to gap them? The reason why you have to gap them is because metal expands and retracts. So if that piston there, the ring expands and there's no gap there, it doesn't have where to go. So sitting inside of these rails here, it expands, there's no gap, so it doesn't have where to go. It's only going to go up or down. So whenever they go up or down, they'll just snap the piston. So what you tend to see on a failure of doing the wrong gap of rings is that the piston will just snap the side skirt here, and then once that's done, it's just going to damage the whole cylinder wall. So at that point, you're looking at a brand new engine. So it is very important that you look at your piston gaps, the gap on the ring, to try to avoid any type of situation. Another thing is this piston is kind of cleaned up already. I'll bring you a dirty one. And as you can see by all the carbon here on the top is literally pieces. The piston rings here, you can see the buildup of carbon just around and in between the piston rings. So they were allowing some oil to pass through. That oil then would be burned, and will just deposit itself on the side of the piston. So the way you want to be cleaning this is you want to be removing one of these, so the correct ring for that, and then you can just snap it, because they are quite brittle, so they'll just snap anyway. And then you'll use that as a tool to go forwards and backwards and get a lot of the stuff out. I think you can probably see just how much carbon is coming out of that rail. So the trick here is to get all the carbon out, but do not damage the sidewalls or the gap, because if there is too much gap on this, it's going to allow some air to escape through and you're going to lose compression. So all the tolerances need to be super tight so you don't lose anything, but it's not the end of the world. Just get the bit of the ring and then just keep scraping away, getting all that debris out of the way. This is a piston now assembled with the new rings. So you have the top ring. The way you're going to know what way it goes is normally it has a laser marked sign in there. I think it's going to be very hard to show you because it's very, very little, but it is, you can see the brand label just there. The second one will have a slight tapered off edge, and that tapered edge sits at the bottom, and the oil ring unmistakably is at the bottom. Now, what you want to try to prevent losing compression, what you want to be doing is you want to be, as you see, like this is the piston gap, the piston ring gap. So you want to have them at around 120 degrees apart from each other. So even the oil one, where's the gap for the oil one? So if I have the oil one here, I'll have the second piston down there, and then the third one down there. So then all of them kind of like evenly spaced, so that we cause the least amount of loss on that. So this piston now is ready. We're going to put the sleeve on it, tighten it up, and just drop it on the board there, on the cylinder. And then I'm going to have to do the same to all the other two. I was going to say all the other three, but 3 is as much as this engine has. So yeah, we're going to have to clean up everything and just put it back into the car. Cool. So now we have our piston with the new rings. We have the ring compressor. And what you want to do is, first of all, let's understand what way does the piston go. So as you can see, this piston is still used, is the one from this car. So it is very important that we put it back to the exact same position where it was, because sometimes what happens is cylinder ovalization. So where that cylinder is no longer a complete circle, it starts to become more of like an oval shape. So if you put it back to the same position, all good to go. If you don't, then you might have issues. Again, if you're putting a new piston, it's always worth checking with the like micrometer, if you want to call it, the tool that measures the cylinder wall, and then you can see if any point is wider than the rest. So then you are sure that is good to go. So with this one, what you want to do is you want to oil up your tool. So this tool here, we're just going to put some oil on it. Now this is completely oiled up. Again, let's remember the fact that pistons, they have arrows. So on the top of the piston, you'll have an arrow. Those arrows, they do point for the timing side. Now this piston is timing side, so it's this piston from here, and the 2 arrows pointing to the timing side. So therefore, this piston is meant to go in like that. So let's just put this in here, confirm that our gaps are all around 120 millimeter, 120 degrees apart from each other. Yeah, I'm happy with that. We're now going to go inside here, get our tool to tighten this. So now with this in there, you're going to line it up here, and you're going to use the bottom of the skirt. So you're going to push the piston down, and you're going to use the bottom of the skirt to help you. You're going to tie it as hard as you can. So that goes there, and we go. Bam, bam. So that's piston. Remember, arrows pointing the timing side, and the piston is back to the same place it was before. So now you can push that piston down, get this tool out, rotate the piston. I'm gonna turn the crank. We're gonna have to oil up that because you don't want this is gonna seize while you're trying to, start the car or even turn over the engine. So again, we're gonna push the piston from the bottom, bring that con rod straight up to it, and now we're gonna put the cap. So caps, again, they have only really one way to go in. It is this way. You're gonna start by untightening the bolts there, and then we're just gonna torque them. So once this is torqued, we will repeat the process across all three of the pistons, reassemble everything, seal up all the half sump, and then the sump itself, we'll put the timing belt kit with the tensions and everything, and then top of the engine, brand new head gasket. I'm gonna do the other three pistons. You've seen already how it works. So I'll do the other three pistons, I'll torque them, and then we'll flip the engine, and then we'll assemble. The boys are coming in, so I won't be able to carry on that. I was just looking at the diary, and we do have quite a lot of jobs. Now, you did get to have a look on the EB2 engine, the Peugeot engine, that is fitted to Corsas as well nowadays. So some Vauxhalls are coming out with this engine. They do have the problem with piston rings, so we do get quite a lot of them to do the piston rings. The oil consumption is the first sign. You start to see that, and then it gets to a point that you start to struggle to go through emissions. You're going to start doing some damage to your catalytic converter due to that burning oil. You start to get to a point where you start to just foul the spark plugs. So your spark plugs will start failing very quickly, and that is also another sign. But apart from that, if you guys have any of these engines and need piston rings done, just pop us a message, we'll get your price. If you don't have one of them, you are lucky, but you most likely have other issues. So watch the other videos down here. And this was it, guys. The engine is all ready, assembled, ready to be put back on the car. My colleague is going to put this back in the car, not me. But anyway, thank you guys a lot for watching, and I hope I can upload some more videos in future for you.